Everybody needs a little time away.
Some people have in their nature will continue hurting you. They will hurt you, you tell them, you forgive them, and they will keep hurting you and hurting other people. It is just by nature. Some people are born sadists. Psychologists will call it sadists. Such people in their brain have something that they don't feel hurt when people are hurt, and they enjoy hurting people. It gives them pleasure for them to hurt people. It is in their nature to hurt. And such people, you keep forgiving them 70 times 7, as the Bible says. I'm sure we will not exhaust the 70 times 7, but you lift it unto God, so that God himself will deal with them and change their nature. And by you forgiving them, or by us forgiving them the hurt or whatever they have caused, it will also in one way or the other keep changing their nature, because they will look at a point and said, what is happening in this person that I keep hurting and the person is not paying me back? God himself would find a way to deal with them. So very importantly, forgiveness is always the way out. That we forgive and continue forgiving, which is also working our own self. Because when you forgive, your life has a way of rewinding itself to the original state, so that that hurt don't have impact, or the hurt doesn't have the impact on you the way it should hurt you, the feeling that it should induce in you that will color your life and make you sad. That will not come, because you have forgiven and you have detoxified your whole system, and your system in turn will be happy and content, and your relationship with others gets improved, and your health status also gets improved. And so such people who keep hurting, you leave them and continue with your life. How do we deal with hurt? We deal with hurt by first forgiving. That is the paramount aspect of it. We forgive, which cleanses us. Forgive first, and then see the person as someone who doesn't know what he's doing. And so with that, you have a better perspective to life. So first forgive. 2, treat the person as if the person hasn't even hurt you, because you are forgiven. 3, continue working on yourself. What puts you in the place of hurt, so that as much as possible you can avoid that. If possible, you can avoid being in the place of hurt, because by all means there was something that causes someone to hurt on you. You may be in a way somewhere that's caused the hurt. So as much as possible, avoid or try to be in the place of not being hurt. Though the fact remains that no matter what you do, you'll be hurt. But it's less and see if you have that awareness that if you are in certain position not to be hurt, it's going to help less the burden on you of being hurt. And 4, show love. When your life is radiating love continuously, it's difficult for people to hurt you and it gets to you, because what you are radiating is love. Jesus himself showed us example of loving, even though when he came to the world he was hurt severally, but he showed us that hurt was not in him. He kept forgiving, and he kept seeing at people, human beings, as his siblings, and he was doing good always. When we look again on certain characteristics in the Bible, of course, we saw that Abraham forgave Lot, and even made after the hurt, he still looked for him when he was in danger. We look at the life of Joseph. Joseph was hurt so much. I don't know how A person can be hurt to such a degree of your own burden, your own brethren, your siblings, trying to kill you and throwing you and destroying you totally. But he got to a point in his life, he never had it against them. He forgave them and brought them to a point that they could enjoy what he was, his own fruits. And so we can use those examples of formula, as I say, those formula to treat ourselves and others. And as forgiveness is a treatment which can be we can call it detoxification effects on us. It will certainly make us loving people. And when you are loving, no matter what hurts come your way, you'll be able to surmount it and continue loving. Hurts can come in different form and from different angles and from different people. Every day in our lives, we may get hurt, or we actually do get hurt from loved ones, people at our workplaces, even at church or marketplaces, wherever we find ourselves. When we are in the midst of people, we will get hurt one way or the other. Sometimes it's by misunderstanding. Sometimes somebody feels that they have power over you and therefore showing you what you are or what they are. And by doing so, they can hurt you, and that hurt can stay with you. Husbands and wives can hurt each other. We hurt our children and our children hurt us back. Sometimes by what we tell people, by words, by our actions, by so many ways we hurt each other. And when we keep those hurts in us, it affects us. It affects our relationship. It affects our whole life. And so for us to have a progressive life, for us to be able to relate well with others and promote our health, and be able to do things as normal human beings, we need to forgive. In forgiving, we have to look at the hurts and say, sometimes, people who hurt us continue moving on with their lives, and we continue keeping the hurt with us, which may be destroying our lives. And if it's in the home, you can imagine the hurt, one person hurts each other spouse or children, and you are living under the same roof with the person. How do you relate with each other? It marks everything in the home. And if it's in the office, it does. It affects the progress or productiveness of the institution or the work that you're doing. And so if we forgive each other and kind of wipe out whatever is causing that hurt, we are able to move ahead. And so we need to evaluate and say, I have been hurt, or something has caused hurt, but I'm putting that thing away, and so that I can move on with life. And when you forgive, you are able to move on. First, after evaluating, just try to make the relationship as normal, as if nothing has happened. Ignore. Don't try to raise the issue. Sometimes as you raise the issue, it goes something that has been repressed into your back memory. You bring it back to fore, and then you are trying to, it brings the hurt back. And so you just ignore it and leave it in memory and keep moving as if nothing has happened. You try to treat people the best way you can. When people step on your toe and they hurt you so much, sometimes you want to do it to others, knowingly or unknowingly. But when you tell yourself that I don't like this, and therefore I will not do it to others, first you have forgiven whoever has hurt you. You try to build a relationship. You have ignored the hurts. You build relationship, and then you also treat other people well. Treat people the way you want them to treat you. For instance, in Ghana, we just finished election 2020, and there are issues. And as we can see, we are also in the courts. People are not happy with the verdicts, the results. People think they have won, people think they haven't won, and so there are issues. How do we progress from there for the betterment and progress of our nation? Forgiveness still come in. You know, we are not static as human beings. We progress, we move, days move. Very soon you realize that the year will move, and then soon we'll be in another election. If we don't work on ourselves, forgive each other, and start moving and see each other as friends, family, stakeholders of this nation called Ghana, and we are working to the betterment of the citizenry of this nation, then we will hold on to what has passed, and we are working against each other, the progress of this nation may not move the way we want it. As we can see, things are a little bit slow. It has happened before in 2012 when we were in courts. Things were slow, very slow. It affected the citizenry of this nation. Now we are at that space again. When we are able to forgive each other, we realize that we move together to build this nation, and another time of election will come and we'll do our things in another way. That is how we move, and that is how we progress, and we'll build nation. By keeping head and say, let me head this person back, let me take this, let me do this, it doesn't augur well for the progress of our nation. People will always hate and will always feel hurt. But the most important thing is that we forgive. And if possible, if you can approach the hater, just tell the person, you hurt me, you know, and I have forgiven you. I want us to move on. If you, so that you can, because by all means you also hurt someone. You are expecting that the person get back to you or forgive you. When the person gets back to you, I'm sure you'll be ready to forgive the person. And so let's keep on, it's a cycle. We keep on forgiving 70 times 7 again. We keep on forgiving each other, and in a way detoxifying continuously and moving on and treating others well. If you cannot get to the person to say, I've forgiven you, forgive all the same. And by your actions, forgiveness will reflect, and that's the person will know that you are forgiven. So it's important that we do that.